Welcome everyone to the Dragon Age podcast. My name is Albert and I'll be your host for this first episode 1 of the podcast, and we have essentially breaking news. Dragon Age announcement expected next month. This is from IGN. BioWare teases Dragon Age announcement, reading from the site 29th of November 2018 at 12:11 p.m. PST. IGN News. Doesn't say who wrote it. Actually, it does. Stephen Petit. Here we go. BioWare General Manager Casey Hudson teased a Dragon Age announcement in a recent post on BioWare's official blog. If you've been following these blogs, or myself and Mark Dara on Twitter, you know we're also working on some secret Dragon Age stuff, said Hudson. Dragon Age is an incredibly important franchise in our studio, and we're excited to continue its legacy. Look for more on this in the coming month, though I won't tell you where to look. Interesting, the coming month. Obviously he means the Game Awards. While Dragon Age stuff doesn't necessarily mean BioWare is gearing up to announce the next entry in the role-playing franchise, the timing of this news is interesting. It's possible this announcement could come during the Game Awards, which airs on December 6th. We've known for a while now that a new Dragon Age game was in development. Earlier this year, Hudson said the next Dragon Age will be story and character focused, but it will also follow EA's live model. According to Hudson, the live distinction merely means the game will continuously grow, presumably through content updates. In the post, Hudson also reaffirmed BioWare's commitment to creating more games in the Mass Effect universe. Dragon Age Inquisition, the third entry in the series, launched back in 2014. And then there's the usual customary end-of-article stuff that all the outlets do. So, needless to say, I'm extremely excited about this. About a week or so ago, I posted to the Dragon Age subreddit as interactive artistry. If you've if you've watched this from that post, thank you so much for paying attention to that post and saying that you were excited about the podcast. Welcome to one and all the folks in the comments who threw up their hands and said, yo, we are interested in this podcast. Thank you so much for making it. And it is for you that I'm making this. It is for Dragon Age that I'm making this. And there's no way that I would have been able to stop myself from making this show already. I didn't know about this announcement. I did not know. Okay, this is some freaky cosmic stuff right here. So not much to break down here apart from obviously the obvious, which is that he is being coy. It will be at the Game Awards, and I suppose the best thing to do would be to jump over to BioWare's official statement so we can comb through a bit slower and make some predictions, have a bit of fun there, and then we'll sort of crack on with some speculations. Yeah, this is wonderful. I can't wait to dive into this with you all. As soon as my Australian internet decides to work. Although, is that because the website isn't working? Is it because it's 504 gateway timeout? Anyway, folks, I want Tvimter. I want Griffins. Okay, this is what I need. This is what I want from this new entry. But more than anything, I'll tell you right now, it is about the next generation. It is about, and not. Obviously, I don't mean next gen. I mean next gen according to 2014's, 2014, because when it came out, it was cross-platform with the previous, with PlayStation 4, with PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, I believe, which is basically ancient if you think about sort of modern tech and such. So I am amazed. I am amazed that we're going to get this, basically this swan song to the platform. I don't think they'd be advertising something like this for unannounced platforms. So I think from that we can deduce that Dragon Age 4 will indeed be one of the last titles on the platform. And for me, I have such a fond memory of titles that have come out near the end of platforms. For example, you have Final Fantasy IX, which was basically, so many people hold it, including myself, as the greatest Final Fantasy because it is an expression of a platform that has reached its zenith, that it has reached the highest ability for it to, for a developer to know all the sort of secrets, to know all the ways that the platform can be stretched and sort of push it to its very limit. It's fantastic. I keep having these waves of excitement that come. So what's so interesting right now is that the 504 gateway timeout on BioWare's actual site, I wonder if it's been amended. There is a potential, folks, that the Casey's statement has been amended. The Game Awards folks may have gotten a hold of him and said, hey, by the way, we were trying to keep that a bit of a secret, so Casey may have jumped the gun a little bit there. So BioWare blog, we're going to live find it right here using the Googles, right? And yeah, I really want to start seeing folks writing in, sending voicemails in, Twitter, Tumblr, anywhere you're listening from. Welcome. We need to get you all on the show. We need to get your voices on the show. So you should immediately send through an email to contact@interactive-artistry.com. I want to start reading all of your Dragon Age stories, all of your speculations, predictions, analysis, theories, discussions, anything you want to jump on the show and or either be featured on the show, or you're very welcome to jump on the show itself. Skype and Discord, we can do things that way as well. So yeah, where to begin? As soon as I get this BioWare blog happening, then I think we can go from there. It is very, very telling, though, that yes, I think the post may have been deleted, folks. This is very, very interesting. Wow. I'll have to jump onto the Reddit now. Let's have a look. Here we go, just to kind of preserve all this sort of live happening right now. I also want to know from everyone listening in what your plans are for the Game Awards. I know that a few of you have probably, if you're watching this from the Interactive Artistry YouTube, that you probably follow Death Stranding podcast and Fumito Ueda podcast, both coverages where I've sort of speculated that we may receive some updates in terms of like trailers or features or any kind of signs of these new projects in these properties, right? And in Death Stranding case, the debut, everyone's speculating about the release date. I want to know from you about whether or not you think we're going to see Dragon Age, maybe even a release date for the Dragon Age 4 in this one. And I want to indulge in what I like to call on this podcast Mind's Eye Cinema with you all, which is you need to just walk me through exactly how this trailer is going to open. I was listening to a Star Wars podcast that actually just went into specifics, because what have you got to lose, I think it was, the Resistance podcast, and Lacey from that podcast was thrown the question, hey, what do you think the Star Wars trailer is going to be for episode 9? And she said, well, both of these trailers has started with someone like heavily breathing and being really like exhausted, which was for Force Awakens it was Finn, for Last Jedi it was Rey, coming out of the cave. And she said, well, wouldn't it sort of complete the trifecta if we had Kylo Ren, out of breath at the start of the trailer, and then just go from there. I really want to hear that. What's then? There's nothing to lose. Just jump on, and then I can cross compare what the eventual trailer will be according to what you predicted, and then maybe even just do a checklist of what you got right, and I think that'll be so much fun to do that. So. Okay, 4 hours ago. Interesting. This is so funny. It's almost like it's completely vanished. This is incredible. Okay. I think, the blog is coming up now, November update. Here we go. Casey Hudson, right? Let's read through the November update people. And I'll just type Control Find Dragon just to make sure. Rightio, yes, okay, let's read through the whole thing, my friends. Okay, here we go. November update by Casey Hudson, November 29th, 2018. General Manager of BioWare. Things are always busy at a game development studio, especially when we're finishing a game. A few years back, I toured a friend around the office as we were finalizing a game, and he said it was like being on a submarine, the tangible energy of professionals doing their jobs with intensity and purpose. As we approach the release of Anthem, it's starting to feel like that again. First, Anthem. Okay, so I know this is Dragon Age, but we have to read through. I'm a bit OCD, and who knows if we missed anything from the IGN article. So now that we're past our alpha milestone, we're at the part of the project where we're doing final tasks and changes, and doing a ton of testing and bug fixing. And we're able to do one of my favorite parts of games development, the play from home build. It's a tradition at BioWare. Late in a project, when the game is good enough and finished enough to really enjoy it as a complete experience, we enable it to be played at home by our developers. So already just parking the sort of analysis bus right here. He's talking about how the modern BioWare, 2018, 2019, 2020 BioWare do things like this. They make an announcement, and then they announce a beta, an alpha, and the beta, and so on. So I believe E3 2017 was when Anthem was revealed, and then a year after we got some gameplay, and then and I believe also the release date of Anthem. We received it so from one E3 to the other, so very E3 focused, which for me means that if they're going to sort of follow that pattern with Dragon Age, we're looking at for just a sort of a rough release window speculation, reveal at the Game Awards 2018 in a few days, and then round about the Game Awards 2019, we're going to be looking at possibly an early 2020 release for Dragon Age, which I think would put it in the window of potentially being cross-platform. So again, just pausing the bus there to just do a bit of extrapolation. It's very exciting to think about, and if it is eventually announced to be cross-platform, folks, I won't be able to help myself. I will need to jump onto the next platform. I don't care. Like Dragon Age for me, just a little background for me. I obviously became aware of it back in 2011. Very, very difficult time in my life where a very, let's say, not very pleasant person in my world who I eventually left. And Dragon Age, even though this person played that, it was exempt from that. This world felt like alive, it felt nuanced, it felt like this beautiful mixture. It basically felt like, and I still feel this way, the be-all, end-all high fantasy mixed with low fantasy, so almost grey fantasy. And so then that word Grey Wardens also always puts me in mind of, I see what they were going for. They were mixing high and low fantasy, and I always saw it as taking all of the best of Tolkien, all of the best of Game of Thrones, with the Grey Wardens alluding to and echoing the Black Watch or the Night's Watch, and I just think that they're beyond just beyond a kindred, really. The fact that it's produced in Canada, one of my favorite countries, they have this wonderful open-mindedness there that I cherish so much here in Australia. We're very kindred with that kind of open-mindedness and that sort of sense of humor as well. But it does not compromise some of the seriously emotional and seriously life-changing aspects of this series, which I've read here and there about people being actually able to express their full identities, in a way that real life didn't really allow them to until they played Dragon Age. For example, if you were struggling a bit with your sexuality or your orientation or your identity, these games enabled us to, and this isn't high-minded and just being all pretentious and stuff about games. It really is to say that these endeavors, especially when they are as immersive and branching paths and promoting choice and promoting everything that BioWare is known for, which is these profoundly fully fleshed out relationship building simulators. Essentially, it's positive. It has such a positive effect on psychology. It opens up dialogues, for goodness sake. David Gator, when he wrote Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age Inquisition, all of his characters have so much nuance and so many layers, and they have traumas, they have fears, and BioWare is basically undefeated in this respect. And what I love about the timing, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but again, I owe it to you to be as honest and unfiltered as possible. What I love about this is that Anthem is, I'll jump back into the statement now as well, the blog post, but Anthem is being touted a little bit as a project that is just taking a different horizon. I've spoken previously on this channel. In fact, we have the Anthem podcast itself, where I think on the very first episode, Triumph as One, I talk about the idea that BioWare are, they're taking a different path from their common approach to relationships. So they're going a little bit less into the in the way that they're sort of they usually go quite deep. They have many different layers, many different branching paths. That's not what they're taking with Anthem, but I believe that Dragon Age 4 is going to offset that. It is going to sort of balance that out and sort of be the promise of that. And I wonder if this is Casey being sort of holding the gift behind his back and pulling one hand out and being like, oh, the person is was expecting something, and then here at the Game Awards 2018 he pulls out the other hand from behind his back, and it's exactly what the little kids wanted, which is us, I suppose, and it's this amazing Christmas gift a couple of weeks ahead of the actual Christmas. So wonderful, and I think that's perfect timing on BioWare's part, and for sure. Okay, let's jump back in. So Casey says, first Anthem, and now that we're past our alpha milestone, we're at the part of the project where we're doing final tasks and changes and doing a ton of testing and bug fixing. And we're able to do one of my favorite parts of games development, the play from home build. It's a tradition at BioWare. Late in the project, when the game is good enough and finished enough to really enjoy it as a complete experience, we enable it to be played at home by our developers. It's an incredibly important step because it allows us to get out of the mindset of being at the office and just be at home experiencing the game like a player instead of being a developer. Oh gosh, I would love to work at BioWare. Just a little FYI. In my earliest personal channel, I did the audition for BioWare for the Dragon Age Inquisition. There was that audition that they held back in 2014. Lots of fun times. Everything that prevents you from loving the game becomes a task or a bug, so we know that when we finish that work, we'll have something really special. As creative people, we have a need to try new things, and while Anthem is definitely something new and different, my first play from home session with Anthem started with some things I expect from a BioWare game, discovering a vast new universe to explore, being drawn into a compelling story, and meeting characters that I want to learn about. Again, just as a reminder, I know that this is the Dragon Age podcast. This is the same company. In many ways, they're probably going to be people who have worked on both franchises, and Casey definitely has a sense of both. You know, it's sort of the yin and yang, the two hands of what BioWare really does with their sort of major their major storytelling kind of. I'll say the word franchises essentially, and when we read about what is satisfying and kindred to Casey when he's reading this, we can extrapolate, like, if he's as excited as he is about Anthem as he is about the new Dragon Age, which it shows in many times, the few times that he's spoken about it, you can definitely tell. That means we can extrapolate what is being said about Anthem to at least in part apply to Dragon Age. So I'll just dive forward and we'll get to the Dragon Age part specifically soon. So he continues, but for me, it also quickly started to deliver its own magic, superheroic gameplay that makes me want to come back just for the feel of it, and being able to have friends join with me on my adventure so we can explore and fight as a team. For example, again, parking the bus again, I would love for some of the Dragon Age team to take a little bit of what, and don't worry, like, easy now, like, settle back down into your chairs. I don't mean for the Dragon Age to be modeled after Anthem or anything, but I do love the idea of the jury's out. It's all about personal preference when it comes to the combat. You know, I personally quite liked Dragon Age Inquisition's combat. Some people preferred Dragon Age Origins, and some actually quite like Dragon Age 2. I think Inquisition was designed to be sort of a mixture of the two, but I wouldn't mind actually seeing something that, again, maybe if you took Inquisition and then Anthem's combat, right, just blended those a bit together, you know, and then go really heavy on the story, go really heavy on the character development, on the world building, on the detail, just really showcase this wonderful generation. It's probably been the best generation of all. I honestly believe that, especially with, PS4 is my 100%. I've said this on other shows, by far my favorite platform. It really reignited sort of my proper, like, earnest love for the interactive medium, and it really helped kickstart interactive artistry as it is today, for sure. So there you go. Immediately I had to I'll start the bus back up now, but I had to share that thought with you, right? Okay, so quickly started to deliver its own magic, superheroic gameplay, makes me want to come back just for the feel of it. Okay, seeing game director John Warnick arrive in my game resplendent in his white and red Ranger Javelin was particularly inspiring, especially when he led me to a secret location with legendary treasure. Right, I can't even... What else needs to be said? If they go fully large scale, if the Anthem team and the Dragon Age team have been teaming up and they have been sharing secrets, swapping ideas for their games respectively, holy moly, that means Anthem will have had an assist from the lore side and the narrative side of the Dragon Age, and it means the Dragon Age team would have had an assist from the folks over at Anthem, and get a boost to their sort of world depth, and maybe that hopefully introduce something which I am desperately hoping they do. Honestly, like, I really hope they do this. It's griffins. Okay, I need griffins. You'll see some of them on screen now. I won't be able to help myself as I'm editing this, putting so many griffins. Give me griffins, and also pegasi, and also hippogriffs. I'm talking about flying mounts. Yes, I am. If you know about Britonia from Warhammer, I would have daydreams of when I was reading, the Britonia book, and I'd be like, I want to be a Pegasus Knight. I want to be flying all around up over mountains, like, you know, cresting over a mountain and like hitting it with my hooves and like scattering some snow in the wind and just like buck-beaking my way around the world. So that's really, really what I need in my life. So I really hope they do that. And why am I saying this? Why do they need this? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because vertical exploration, that's right, omnidirectional open world. I really think that the Anthem team could really help the Dragon Age team deepen and add literally different dimensions, like as in verticality, to the world of so many fantasy worlds, right? In many ways they're defined by just like big open surfaces, big wide kind of expanses, right? And that's fine. I love that. The Witcher definitely didn't have that much verticality. In fact, we have a Cyberpunk podcast coming up as well as a Witcher podcast, and in the Cyberpunk interview, in one of the recent Cyberpunk interviews, they talk about we may have a smaller, well, I don't think he said it was going to be smaller, but he said, look, it's going to be like pancakes, right? It's going to be all these worlds stacked on top of each other, because as you go into Night City, you'll be able to go up floors. So yes, I think he phrased it like if you go 100 square kilometers, out, then it means you're exploring. You have 500 square kilometers vertically in that same space. Again, I'm not very good at distance measurements, but you get the idea. So I would love that. Wouldn't that be great? I wonder if anyone listening in is sort of feeling that and feeling that anticipation for something that I think is really the next step for a fantasy RPG. And I really think that this could stand out. And I've, for the longest time, if you know me from the Last Guardian, I've talked about that being one of my favorite sort of artistic, creative, interactive experience of all time, flying mounts, right? When I look at Harry Potter, one of my favorite sort of magical creatures, Buckbeak. As I mentioned, the Bretonia, there was this is for the old school folks who remember this, Warlords, okay, back in the day. It was a CD game, obviously a PC game, Griffins, and they were Pegasuses were like units you can move. So I just think that would be distinctive. I know I'm a little bit of a flying mounts high right now. I'll dive back into it, but I think that just would be wonderful. So please share your thoughts in the comments and on the Twitter and the Tumblr. Again, I'm going to cover them later in the show when we're sort of tailing things off. But yeah, Interartistry, you can see it on the. I'll be showing it right now. Interartistry and Interactive Artistry, all one word, at Instagram. Okay, so diving back in, this is Casey. So there is, of course, a lot of work ahead to get things ready for Anthem's February 22nd launch date, and since what you get with Anthem isn't just the launch game, but the ongoing story, features and content that will follow in live service, there are teams already working on entire seasons of post-launch content. Gotta park the bus again. Folks, using Anthem right as a model, as a launching off point for speculation, these teams are in the same building as each other, or in the ssame company at the very least. What are you thinking about DLC? I know it's so far early, but what have you got to lose? Tales from Tevinter? Do you want to see the island of the Kunari? Do you want to see their homelands? Do you want to go into completely uncharted territory? Do you want a core part of Dragon Age 4 to be uncharted territory and that we're exploring, and that maybe the bent to the story, where in the previous one we were an Inquisitor, in this one maybe we're just an explorer and we are maybe a cartographer, something like that. Again, for the next six days, why not fill this space with speculation, fill the space with wonder and excitement, because that's what's happening right now. We're getting a trailer for Dragon Age 4 in like under a week, in like 5 days. You need to feel that right now. You need to keep that in your heart, feel that, write posts everywhere. You don't even have to write into this channel, write anywhere you want, and if you want to write it here, I will read it out in an iTunes review, in some comments on this YouTube, or anywhere where I'm going to post this on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Podbean, everywhere. Okay, so write in, definitely. I think there's going to be a great discussion to be had. It'll help us not explode for the next 4 days, and I think it'll be positive overall. So Casey says, it's scary and exciting to work on something of this scale and complexity, but we're doing everything we can to make sure it's an amazing experience for you. As busy as we are with Anthem, there is a lot more going on at BioWare. A couple of weeks ago, it was once again N7 Day. It's one of my favorite times of the year, a day when people around the world share their experiences with Mass Effect. It's so inspiring to know that there are so many fans of the series out there that are enjoying the games we've made and hoping that we'll make more. We announced one of the things we've done recently, a 4K enhancement to Mass Effect Andromeda on Xbox One, but as we alluded to on our N7 Day video, that was just a small part of the plans we're making for Mass Effect going forward. Hey, Casey, it's awesome that he's addressing Mass Effect. I know this is Dragon Age again. All of these three are siblings. Anthem is the newest kid on the block, but these are three siblings. We have to see it that way. We have a focus of Dragon Age on this channel, just as on the other ones, there'll be respective focuses on Mass Effect. Well, there will be a Mass Effect podcast down the line here on Interactive Artistry and the Anthem podcast. But talking about them in terms of each other can actually be really, really additive. And for this one, for example, the enhancements, we have to talk about that. We know that we have a new console generation on the way. I know I alluded to cross-platform, but let's dive into that a little bit more, right? Cross-platform. Announcement of Dragon Age 4 as a launch title, right? I don't think it's going to be exclusive, obviously. I think this is going to be probably the biggest promotion. You know, Dragon Age 4 was Dragon Age 3 Inquisition was incredibly successful. It won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, the very first Game Awards. So that's probably how JF got his sort of leg through the door, or not, rather not. I believe it would have had to have been maybe even the other way around. BioWare saying, "Hey, thank you so much for making us Game of the Year. By the way, we've been working on this game for like 4 years, maybe even longer, because often game development starts before the previous title kind of premieres. So say Dragon Age 3 came out in 2014. Dragon Age 4 was like the sort of the core brainstorming team would have had to have come together at some time in maybe late 2013 at the very latest, right? To start sort of conceptualizing the next one, right? That's just how this works, right? They had a whole bunch of years to iterate. There's been some staff changes, right? Laidlaw, for example, he parted ways, and David Gator also sort of went on his own path. New blood. We're going to get a new team creating something that has, by the way, we live in a world where there has been The Witcher 3. Right, all of these games cross-pollinate with each other. They cross-inspire each other. The CD Projekt Red guys like made it official. They said, "Hey, we want to make something as refined as Red Dead. We are going to get a Dragon Age that is potentially post Cyberpunk 2077, because 2077 was announced earlier than this, right? We'll be getting a Dragon Age that's after that, a Dragon Age that's after The Witcher 3, after, oh my gosh, a Red Dead 3, right? Potentially even after Death Stranding. So it's going to be absorbing in all of these influences, right? We are going to get quite simply the best the best Dragon Age ever, right? And that's not like hyperbole or exaggeration. It's just, by definition, this team, there's been conversations about BioWare, about their, not the most positive discussions around them centering around Andromeda. That's a massive lesson learned for them. You have to look at the sort of the greater percentage of what these people have done with their careers and with their company, right? And that is still good faith for me. You don't just drop a friend when they mess up once in a sort of a wonderful history of, say, above 80% of just amazing growth and offering beautiful stories that people around the world over cherish so much. There was, even talk about a Mass Effect film, right? So that's the level of where BioWare are operating. Obviously, there was their involvement with Star Wars for a while. Fingers crossed they'll get Star Wars again after this EA this EA licensing thing is over. So that's the kind of company that BioWare are. They listen, they absorb, and I find them so kindred. And again, anyone from BioWare listening, right here, my friend, I don't mind. We're both Commonwealth. I'll fly over there. I'll join the company. Hell yeah, I would love to work for you guys in any capacity. Anyway, it's always fun to just like throw that out there. Why not? You know what I mean? Just put that out there in the universe. Right, because it's wonderful to be doing this. I love it so much. I've even thought about applying for things like IGN and GameSpot, but really, as I like, I don't want to get cringe here or anything, but I'll tell you right now, a company that makes you say, "I'm gonna drop everything and work for you guys," that's where you want to go. That's and at the very least, it's who you want to trust, right? And so there you go. Eye rolls. If you've all finished eye rolling at me, I rolled at myself just now at that. That was very surprising. I'm, not surprising, but I kind of had to have that moment. BioWare, it's stretching way back into my past, right? With some of the earliest, with like, oh my gosh, the Baldur's Gate and all that. I can't even deal. I cannot even deal that we're about to get. Essentially, by the way, as I've said, Dragon Age is the be-all, end-all sort of fantasy RPG, sort of growing, developing universe. I think it's more cohesive than Elder Scrolls. I think it's less ponderous than Tolkien. I think it balances darkness and lightness better than Middle-earth and The Witcher, and I think it streamlines its lore better than Warhammer, right? So there you go, I've shouted. And then just overall in terms of color, and there is color to it, it has that wonderful presence of color that Warcraft does. So as I said, I just sort of cherry-picked all the ingredients of all these wonderful fantasy universes. That's what Dragon Age means to me, so amazing. And I wasn't even having the best day before recording this. Saw this news, my mood immediately flipped, and I had to channel this all into the show for you folks, right? So anyway, let's keep on going into Casey's words, and then we'll wrap up the show. Okay, here we go. We're going to end a little bit on this, my friends. As we alluded to in our N7 day video, that was just a small part of the plans we're making for Mass Effect going forward. And then with no build up or anything, if you've been following these blogs or myself and Mark Dara on Twitter, you know we're also working on some secret Dragon Age stuff. Dragon Age is an incredibly important franchise in our studio, and we're excited to continue its legacy. Look for more on this in the coming month, though. I won't tell you where to look. And even as we gear up for newer projects, our Star Wars The Old Republic team is hard at work delivering ongoing entertainment, envisioning new worlds and storylines that are some of the most ambitious and exciting that I've seen yet from that game. What's common across all these things, The Old Republic, Dragon Age, Mass Effect, and Anthem, is that each one in its own way delivers on our studio mission. They create worlds of adventure, conflict, and companionship that inspire you to become the hero of your journey. That has always been at the core of the best BioWare games, and it's our commitment to you on everything we do going forward. Thanks again for your continued support, and we'll have lots more to share in the coming weeks, Casey. Casey, my word, if you were in the room right now, I would give you a gigantic bear hug. You have just made, if anyone who's listening to this, I'm sure you're feeling the hype, you're feeling that energy of getting a reveal of something we haven't even seen one screenshot of, that we haven't even seen one full sort of explanatory, expositional kind of article about, that sort of details what the game's going to be. This is going to be essentially just a drop. If BioWare sort of takes, they may even win the Game Awards, and I am on my 45th episode of Death Stranding podcast. Okay, so believe me, that is high praise from me. Okay, so on every level, I cannot wait for this. I hope you've all enjoyed this first entry of the Dragon Age podcast. In subsequent entries, we're going to be getting folks on the show. We're going to be getting you on the show. Get in touch. Twitter at interartistry. Okay, interactive artistry, all one word, on Instagram, and then for the Tumblr, it's interactiveartistry.tumblr.com. Send me a message. I'll get you the Discord. Make sure you have a nice mic. We'll get you on the show, and we'll talk all things Thedas. Okay. I have been Albert. This has been wonderful. I cannot wait to get this show out to you. I'll start editing right now. Be well, everyone, and until next time, thank the maker that we have Dragon Age 4 on the horizon. Be well, my friends. Bye.